Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a cook with me video. It's for a recipe that I actually mentioned in a meal plan, like a grocery shopping video a couple of weeks back. And I had a few people message me to ask me to share the recipe. It's a bit of a controversial one because it's like a traditional, why can't I say that word today? A traditional mac and cheese recipe, but with sprouts. Bear with me, even if you don't like sprouts, it is a really good one to try. It's actually roasted sprouts with roasted butternut squash and bacon, or pancetta if you can get it. It's absolutely delicious, trust me. Even non-sprout lovers have been known to enjoy this recipe, and by that I mean my kids. They are typical kids in that they will turn their nose up at anything green, and they're not massive fans of sprouts, but actually they do enjoy them in this recipe. So well worth a go. I think the key is roasting them. It makes a massive difference to the flavour. I always enjoy sprouts, but like anyone else, I cannot stand it when they are boiled and mushy and just not very nice at all. Whereas when you roast them, it really brings out this sweetness in the sprouts. Honestly, you have to try it to believe it, I know, but they are really, really good. And with the butternut squash, which is obviously so sweet, it's just a really nice flavour combination. And obviously you can leave out the bacon if you're a veggie, but it does add an extra something special to the recipe. So I hope you enjoy it. I actually filmed it a couple of nights ago, so I will be inserting the footage with a voiceover because my house was utter chaos on that particular day. So I wasn't able to film an intro because everybody was just screaming and it was just one of those days. So I hope you enjoy it, and let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on sprouts, particularly sprouts in mac and cheese. I'd love to know. So the first thing I do is prep the veg to go in the oven to roast while I get on with the rest of the food. So I always buy these prepared sprouts, which I know is really lazy, but it's just the right amount for the recipe, and it just means it's a little bit quicker and easier to prepare. So usually I can get away with just chopping them in half. Sometimes I need to remove some of the outer leaves, but usually I can just chop them and put them in the roasting tin ready to go in the oven. So let me know in the comments, have you ever roasted sprouts? And if you have, do you just eat them on their own, or is it as part of another recipe? Let me know. I'd love to have your sprout suggestions for all sprout enthusiasts out there. Then moving on to the butternut squash, and this recipe I only ever use about half of a medium-sized butternut squash. That's plenty for this recipe. At this point I realized that my peeler was terrible, so I just decided to use a knife to peel out the outer skin. Then I just needed to chop it into slices and then dice it into small cubes, and I do the cubes quite small because, as I said, my kids aren't massively fussed on the squash. They actually prefer the sprouts in this recipe, but they will eat it if they're small. So then I just drizzle it all with some olive oil, put some salt and pepper on there, crush some cloves of garlic, add those in too. I leave the skins on and just pop it all in the oven to roast for about 20 to 25 minutes. Then I move on to my least favourite part of the prep for this recipe, and that is grating cheese. I don't know why, I just have a real thing. I just hate grating cheese, it really drives me mad. Not sure what that's about, but I use a mixture of extra mature cheddar and then Parmigiano or Parmesan cheese for the sauce. So while I'm grating the cheese, I've got the pasta boiling on the top, so I've just got some macaroni in there for about 10 minutes. Then I can get on with the sauce. So I just melt some butter. I always do this by eye, I never measure it out, but I put some butter and a drizzle of oil in a pan, then add some flour, and I tend to keep going until I reach quite a thick paste consistency for the base of the sauce. I just find that my sauce comes out better if the paste that I start with is a bit thicker. I'm not sure what the measurements are, unfortunately, but I just keep going until it looks a little bit like this. Once I've added all the flour, I can start adding in the milk slowly, and again, I don't measure this, I just do it by eye. And I keep going until the sauce is quite thick before I add in the cheese, so it usually takes quite a lot of stirring to get it to the consistency I want. But once it looks a little bit like this, I can add in the cheese, and I always manage to drop half of it when I'm adding it into the pan. So here I'm adding a mixture of the cheddar and the Parmesan cheese. Then once the pasta is finished and drained, I can mix it all together to make the mac and cheese base for the dish. Again, managing to make a real mess of things while I pour the sauce out. Then I mix it all together, and by this point the veg is usually pretty much done. So just check it, and I forgot to film this bit actually, but at this point I would pan fry off the bacon bits or pancetta just until they're slightly crispy, which only takes a couple of minutes. Then I can add them in with the sprouts and the butternut squash to the pasta with the cheese sauce, mix it all together. Sometimes I will put this back in the oven with some grated cheese on top just to finish it off. Sometimes I can't be bothered with that bit, but on this particular evening I did. Just makes it that little bit tastier. And that's it, that's the finished dish. I always add a load of black pepper to mine as well, just to say at the end. So let me know what you think. Will you be adding sprouts to your mac and cheese next time you make it? And if you are going to try the recipe, let me know in the comments, I'd love to know. And yeah, this is definitely one of my favourite pasta dishes at the moment. Let me know if you'll be trying it. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.